Hey, welcome to ConCarolinas Television. I am Bronner,
And I'm Ray.
and we invite you to take the next hour and go on a little journey with us. With us, we have two wonderful people joining us once again on our show. And want to introduce yourself, ladies first?
Hello, I am Arugs. I am from Nerd Mom Ace. I am also on Dondero streams. And yeah, so here I am.
Welcome, welcome. And Scruffy,
Hi,
Scruffy.
I'm Paul.
No, you're not.
I'm here
he's not.
so I don't get fined.
Right. So his little ankle bracelet doesn't start going off.
It's community
Yep.
service.
No, I'm John Dondero. I am the proprietor of Dondero Streams. You may or may not know that already because you are watching the channel.
I
Yay.
would
We're
hope
glad to
so.
have both of you. It's going to be an amazing show. Tonight we are going to talk about the forthcoming film and TV series, the film being Morbius and the TV series being Moonknight. And we're going to start off by talking about Morbius. All right. Want to take the steering wheel
The
there?
steering wheel.
Steer
Yeah, I
us
like to
into the
drive.
right direction.
So Morbius is coming out, and let's talk a little bit about who Morbius is because he's definitely a different character for the Marvel universe to be shooting out there. Um, Definitely darker, a little edgier, and they're going with a vampire.
Anti-hero, kind of.
They are going with a vampire. What do you think about that?
I like the fact that Marvel's actually branching out into the anti-hero, like the darker, because DC sort of cornered that market for a while,
It works so
with
well for
all.
them.
It does. Like you have all the Marvel like super like heroes that everybody loves, but the villains that DC has, everybody loves them. And so now I think that Marvel is really like with this whole Morbius, the vampire, that whole aspect of it. I really am sort of excited to see the darker aspect of them trying to dig into that.
I was for it until I saw Venom. I didn't like Venom.
Me neither.
And Aruj is right. Like DC does have really good villains and all that. And I think the future is we need to take all the villains from DC and all the heroes from Marvel, and that's what we do. We just take and mush it in there
instead
because
of
They just have
instead
this
of Batman
beautiful
and
baby.
Superman, it's DC villains versus Marvel heroes, and just have
yeah,
them go at
Joker
it.
versus Iron Man, 100% would
Oh,
watch.
I'm down.
I'd watch it.
Um,
Not gonna lie. I'd
but
watch it.
uh, so yeah, I mean, I was not a fan, and it's not even. I like Tom Hardy as Venom. I just didn't like the stories, and I don't know if that's because the villains aren't as good, or if Sony is just bad at making superhero movies.
But they're not. I mean, the
Are they not? Name a good
Spider
superhero movie
Man.
Sony did.
I
Only
just feel
two
like
was good.
Marvel has like the formula. They have their winning formula. I know they're trying to step outside of the box, and it could go the way of Venom, and it could fall on their face, or it could be a success.
I don't. You know. Well, let's be honest. Venom was an absolute failure. I hated it, but it did great at the box office. It generated two, right? The first one and the second one.
Hmm.
And there was a lot of people excited about the whole Carnage thing coming to light, which in my opinion, they should have waited for Spider-Man to introduce Carnage, but that's just me. Um,
Or
but the Sony aspect of it, I didn't Sony weren't they the production company on all the Tom Holland stuff? I mean, I know that
well, yeah, but
they at
they
least had some association with it for sure.
they did it, but it had to fall under the MCU. Like their anti-heroes right now are like solely Sony universe. Well, as far as like control, and but Tom Holland still has to fall under all of
So they still
the
have that creative
MCU, which
freedom.
I think mhm,
Disney, right?
they
But
just get to be like, we
yeah,
own that.
but
You're
you
doing
know,
cool. It's like giving my skateboard to Tony Hawk.
but you know the funny thing about it is Tom Hardy was that a spoiler? Yeah, I shouldn't say that because that might spoil stuff. But they kind of do a shared thing at some point.
Well, you know what? They showed that in Venom 2. And that's been out long enough on DVD.
Yeah, and the Spider-Man's been out long enough. No, there's no spoilers.
Spider-Man No Way Home
Yeah.
just came out yesterday to stream, so
Just to,
we'll just give that a moment to
marinate.
Yeah, marinate. Yeah. But the funny thing is that Morbius was, I think it first appeared in Spider-Man like around 1970-ish, and like I had never heard of him until I saw the trailer for, or heard the scuttlebutt that they were coming out with that. So, he's kind of a relative unknown when it comes to the broad stroke of, the culture.
Well,
but
he's definitely not one of
they're really scrapping at it.
You think so? You think they're scraping the bottom of the barrel?
Well, I just think is like, how are you going to top the Goblin? Like, they're doing all these Spider-Verse villains, and I'm sorry, but the Goblin in the first one and in the second one, like in No Way Home, that
awesome.
I would watch a Goblin movie all day long. I don't care.
Awesome villain.
It doesn't even have to have a plot. It's just him
fly around throwing bombs.
And it's just an hour and a half of him going, Spider-Man! 100% watch it.
I'd watch it too. We're such nerds.
Yeah.
All right. So Morbius has some pretty spectacular powers. So if you were Morbius, which power would you choose? What would be your dominant power?
Well, I have half of these, so hold on.
Oh.
Yeah.
A Ruse universe. Go Sony.
I would have to say the accelerated healing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Over all of them? Why accelerated healing?
Because I
You
would
ever
do
stub
some
your toe?
wicked. Yeah, I would do. I would just. I think with the accelerated healing, it would just
your elbow.
Sword fight, run into things. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could have used that today.
I have a high tolerance for pain. It don't bother me.
Yeah, Tony Hawk, we know you could have used it today.
Yeah. I don't know. The senses would be pretty nice. I think if I had to pick one, because all my senses are shit, I never know what's happening around me at any given moment.
That's a bad thing.
Like, yeah, I could use that.
That's not wrong.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what's happening, but I feel like the senses would be really bad because you ever fart in your office.
Oh,
dude.
So it's a double-edged sword.
You gotta wallow in stench the whole time. Yeah, I'm not going with senses. What
Mm.
about you, Ray?
me?
Yeah.
Oh, the hypnotism for sure.
Me too. High five.
High five.
We can do that. Why don't you guys high five?
Well, that's not.
This is
Well,
the
you can
Bronner
already do that.
versus a rude.
You already got it. It's already fine.
Like, look into my eyes.
Look into my eyes.
You're getting sleepier and
My
sleepier.
eyes. My eyes. My eyes.
Oh.
No, but that hypnotism, I mean, just the possibilities are endless. Just endless. I'm definitely an anti-hero. I would not be doing hero stuff.
No, yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's what I would like. I would use the hypnotism for bad. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like Robin Banks. I'm doing it.
I was like, I'm going to use my powers for good.
That's the thing I didn't know about Morbius is that he's kind of an anti-hero.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
every time I've ever seen him, he's been a straight villain. That's what he does. He's a villain. Like Venom, okay, Venom had his moments. I get that. But Morbius, like, I'm just remembering the only time I really saw him was in the old 90s cartoons.
Yeah.
And he was the bad guy.
Dude was just trying to jack shit up. That's what he was doing.
And that's what they're trying
Or
to do.
jack
They're
poop
trying
up.
to
I'm
take that
sorry.
Hero,
Yeah, you know,
and just break the wall down between them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was also in Scooby Doo. I'm pretty sure he like took
He
off
is
his mask.
also funny story. Morbius is the name of the. If you ever watched the show The Venture Brothers,
Don't think so.
the Doctor Strange character in The Venture Brothers is named Morbius. because they have a character making fun of Doctor Strange, and his name is Morbius, and that's what I like when we first started talking about the Morbius movie coming out. I'm like, finally they're taking Doctor Strange down a peg, and then I was disappointed because it's Jared Leto.
So we've got
wait.
some chatter in the chat.
All right.
Actually, we do. And Dorian would like to know, isn't Morbius pretty much a Blade remake without the cool sword? And that's interesting
Without
because
the cool gadgets,
there's
period.
no gadgets, no sword.
There's no muscle car.
I mean, Blade was pretty.
He flies.
But
badass.
hear me out. There has been talk about Blade reboot.
There has.
What better way to introduce a Blade remake than Morbius? You're bridging Spider-Man to vampires to Blade.
Especially since Morbius was actually supposed to appear in Blade 2. There was actually supposed to be an alternate ending. And when Del Toro took over as director, he just said, nah, that's not my vision. So we didn't get that.
Yeah, we need a director's cut stat.
A new director's cut.
A new director's cut. Although he's one of my favorite directors, so I don't want any other cut but his.
I know, I do love Guillermo del Toro, but
yeah,
we need Zack Snyder to get on that real quick.
But let's not make it 4 hours. No 4 hours.
No 4 hours. Split it into 2 movies if you have to. All right. So we're talking about this, right? So where does this dude fit in? Is he going to be in the Spider-Verse? Is he going to be, with the Avengers? Or is he going to be ultimately end up on Disney Plus? I mean,
what comes first? No, I'm real mad that Spider-Man is not appearing on Disney Plus yet. I'm a little miffed about that. Because it's the one Marvel movie. Yeah. Which is coming first, Doctor Strange or Morbius?
Morbius.
Okay. I feel like because what they did with Venom, with the little key in there a little bit, and then they've thrown Michael Keaton's character in there, I feel like we're on the cusp. Like, I think Sony and Disney have worked something out. I think they're finally on the same page, and this is, Sony is teasing at it, and Morbius is going to be the next step of like, nah, we are here.
So is
especially with Doctor Strange coming out
straight to the streaming service after this debut, or is he going to continue to be on the big screen with the best of them?
No, I think it's big screen though.
I think it's big screen.
Yeah.
Sony definitely is going to go big screen because that is their moneymaker.
Yeah, if you've been paying attention to the after credits and the little sneak peeks, they're definitely doing the same thing they do with Avengers. They're teasing you, they're tying it in,
and they're definitely creating something like whatever phase it's coming. All right, so right. So what you said that you would like to see Morbius and Spider-Man, John?
Yeah,
he's a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah,
he is. I mean, that's I was introduced.
But then doesn't that come in conflict though with this this movie is trying to make him an anti-hero, and then you're going to try and turn around and make him a villain.
I see, but I think
then
in this
what would
movie
be the point?
I think in this movie he's going to end up a villain. I don't think this is an anti-hero movie.
The struggle's real.
I think this is a villain origin story.
Yeah.
You might be right. I mean, I don't know. And they're not letting that, golden goose out of the bag. So
with the advent of the Joker movie, we have shown that you can do an absolute villain origin story. And this dude's going to be a villain. Because like I said, Morbius didn't start out a bad guy.
No, right? He's a very smart doctor who's just got a rare blood disease. And just looking for a cure. Right.
Yeah. He just wants to live.
And so the way the trailer has played it, this dude, like I said, even if he ends the movie still kind of a good guy, I still think this is more of a villain origin than a villain, like an anti-hero story. Because he wasn't really anti-hero in any of the comics. The dude was just very cursed and, like, unfortunately, a very strong villain who kind of went insane. and is a vampire.
It happens.
All right, so
Did
let's
he go
go
insane
ahead.
because he had a conscience? Like that was like his. That's why he went
His
down the
moral
the
compass
shame
kinda
spiral.
yeah.
We will see, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
Might as well be.
I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it.
I am
It's
All
on my
excited.
right,
list.
so let's talk about, you brought Jared Leto up, John. So we'd be
Mhm.
remiss if we didn't talk about his bad rap from his Joker, um, from the Suicide Squad. Wasn't received very well by
I
anybody.
like that. I
I
liked his
don't
Joker.
blame him for that. I don't blame
liked
him
it.
for that.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
don't think
people
his acting
don't.
ability. Yeah, I don't think his acting ability had anything to do with the fact that he was a bad Joker. You don't turn the Joker into like a thug. Like, I don't mean thug
Arug's
You
like
just
just a
like thugs,
common
Arooz.
criminal.
Arug's like
No, like a common criminal. That's kind of what they turned the Joker into that series. Was just like, I'm a bad guy and I am
Yeah,
just acting out.
he's just
And the
like
Joker
my
wasn't
boss.
that. Yeah.
I
yeah.
think that Joker gave depth to the Harley Quinn character, though. Like it gave that whole like dynamic of mad love. That's why I liked it so much. It was more like that. It was less her chasing after him and more of the relationship as the why the Joker and Harley Quinn were as screwed up as they were. And I think it gave it a little toxic. And so that's why I like that Joker better. It was less about the crazy wacky Joker and more about why but that's my opinion. But I like that Joker. That was my favorite Joker so far. So
I'm a tie between Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger.
oh, Heath
Yeah.
Ledger though. Oh.
Super amazing performances
And
on both ends of the spectrum.
and the guy who played him in Gotham, because I fucking love that. I mean, I freaking love that show, Gotham.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. And I thought he did a great job. And he was in Shameless. I mean, he was a really good actor. The kid
Hmm.
that played him, or the Joker like character in Gotham. I don't know if that's like the first iteration of Joker, but he's far too young, I think, right?
So
Yeah, it's far too young, but I liked how they showed that the Joker wasn't a character.
Right.
Like it wasn't like the character; it was a character.
Right. The Joker's more like a state of mind, not necessarily
Mhm.
an individual. All right. So, how well do you think this movie is going to do overall? It's hard to say, right? Because all right, let me tell you what a little bit I looked up is the highest rating that the writer got in Rotten Tomatoes was like 25%. He did Dracula Untold, Gods of Egypt. There's one other, Last Witch Hunter, all miserably, relatively box office failures, but they all have, I mean, I like the movies because they're kind of the groove of a movie I like, but they weren't very successful at the box office. So you couple that with maybe the stigma behind Jared Leto's acting. Is this movie going to hit it?
well, I think
I
so.
don't know.
And just to answer a question from Dorian in the chat, the characterization of the Joker was not Jared Leto's choice. That was actually the director's choice. And he kind of just, he was already on board. He took what he was given and he rolled with it, which is why I think that Morbius is going to do well because we know what Jared Leto is capable of.
He's an Academy Award winner, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
he's a talented actor. I mean, Dune blew us away. Like he's been in several films. It's just blown us away. I don't think it will be perceived well because, like Dorian said, people don't know Morbius very well. They're not excited about it.
But
Like
literally,
if you're
take yourself back to the 90s, no one knew Blade either. I mean,
that's
really.
true, but now we're in a world of comic book movies where, like, okay, so when Blade came out, many people went to go see Blade not because it was a comic book movie.
It's a vampire movie.
It was a vampire movie. And Morbius is being portrayed as a comic book movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Eternals kind of just fell flat.
Yeah.
and that was straight
That's
up a
good.
Marvel movie, but it fell flat because who knows the
I
Eternals.
feel the more as I watch the trailer, I feel the more intense a trailer is with all the action, the more intense a trailer is, usually the less the
Kind of
yeah, it's
flat.
like that the flat when you watch it because they've shown all the parts in the trailer to try to get you in the seat,
Right.
and it usually falls flat. So I honestly think it's going to be my pajama movie. When it'll come out on streaming, I'll watch it when I'm at home. I will not spend money to go to the theater for that. And I like comic book movies. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical fare.
No,
All right.
they're definitely trying something different.
Right. So
If
that
it wasn't,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that just begs the question, but I'll get to the question in a second. What was your thought?
I mean, I think if it was marketed not as a comic book movie, probably do a lot better. If it was more marketed as it's a vampire movie, because Blade was never, like I said, it was never marketed as a comic book movie.
You know,
It's
we
just later you went, oh wait, that's a comic, cool.
yeah. Before I get to the
And I
next
think that's
question,
where it's
okay. So the vampire thing is a thing, right? But
mhm.
and the Marvel thing is a thing. So they're kind of two separate things. But most people would say that the vampire kind of thing, unless you have a pretty fresh take, is pretty worn out. Just like, zombies, Walking Dead type stuff. Pretty
Oh yeah, the
people are saying
vampire craze is done.
it's pretty worn out, right? So, and then by maybe looking at the Eternals and saying, maybe the big ensemble, cast of amazing beings is kind of going by the wayside too, because in all honesty, the best movies that I've seen by far, by a country mile, is are No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, and the Batman. By far, the best
Well,
movies.
I think this is where it comes down to. They're like, okay, the reason Avengers was such a big smash, the ensemble of heroes, was not because you're assembling all these cool characters. It's because they all had individual movies. You genuinely cared. Like this is why I think Justice League kind of fell by the wayside. There was no cyborg movie. There was
No Flash
no
movie yet.
steady there was no steady Batman movies. There were no steady Superman movies because they had been rebooted so many times. They didn't have a consistent arc. They just try to jump on the Avengers bandwagon. And so Eternals is like, okay, another superhero ensemble cast, but you don't know any of these people, nor do you care.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of where like Justice League really struggled because you know who these characters are, but you don't care about these particular versions of the characters yet because you haven't
Right.
seen their trials and tribulations. You cried when Iron Man died because you had seen 3 movies building up to who he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And plus
So
it was Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he's
Oh, yeah.
so charismatic in and of himself, like there's
exactly.
nobody on the Justice League that has that kind of charisma.
Well, Gal
So
Gadot,
we're not going to be
but-
able to have big ensemble movies until
No
we start
dude.
building.
She's got a lot of charisma.
All right.
charisma.
So the last question, and then we're going to move on to Moonknight, is, we talked about it. John, you brought it up. Why don't they just do the Blade reboot and not do Morbius? Why? What's the?
Because if they were smart, they would put a movie where they can end credit him into a scene and get everyone really hyped about it. If only there was some movie with a vampire coming out.
If only. All right, so you heard it first here on ConCarolinas television. John Dondero is predicting the end scene credit little snippet is going to introduce Blade in a radical fashion. Correct?
You're going to
If
see
they're
a toe.
smart.
And we know they're kind of smart people. I mean, they've made billions.
They've also been pretty.
They have. But yeah, we've also seen them be pretty dumb.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think the segue is perfect because we're going to be talking about their streaming content, their series, And the new one coming out, I think it's April 1st or somewhere around that area, is Moonknight. So we got Moonknight Madness
Who?
coming to us.
Who is this guy?
He's
Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Moonknight before today or before the outline.
I know
came
Poe
out.
Dameron. Poe Dameron
Before the outline?
He was in Star Wars. That Poe Dameron fellow.
Right, that guy.
Right?
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
that
so
guy from Star Wars. Poe Dameron.
You're jumping the gun a little bit. So you haven't heard of
Am I?
Moonknight.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
Read
Get scroll down.
I got my notes right
Read
here.
the freaking outline.
There it is. I have the outline right here. I'm alluding. I'm the end credit scene.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that it? Is
You
that
did
it?
that
Okay,
a couple
got
of
it, got it,
times
got
in the
it.
top half. But okay, it's okay. You're the owner of the show. Let's just go with
Yeah,
that.
but
With the Dondero. Right there. Point to it, Dondero. Other
Other
way.
I
Okay.
get turned around. I don't know where I'm at. I'm just happy
your
to be here.
senses are horrible.
So the premise. Okay, why don't you read that little part?
I can't read anything.
Okay, the premise of it seems hopeful. It's a Marine with dissociative identity disorder that is granted godlike powers of the moon god. Is it a gift or a curse? So again, we're now talking about, is he an anti-hero? Is he a hero? Right? Is it a gift or a curse?
Well, Moon Knight is technically classified as an anti-hero,
Right.
but it's obviously a curse because this moon god just kind of takes all of his different personalities and they all strive to serve this moon god. So this is going to be new for Marvel.
All right. So who's been a fan of the other shows that have been on Disney Plus, like Loki and WandaVision? And yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Depends on the show.
WandaVision,
like I said-
yes. But I don't know.
They
I
all
like
did
Loki.
You
Loki
did?
was fun.
Yeah, I did.
I think
I
it's one of the
did. I
things, they're hit and miss for certain audiences. Like I was kind of lukewarm on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, me too.
It was really good. It was a great story. It was beautifully told, but it just wasn't my target. Like I wasn't the target. And I think with these series, that's what they're going for because each one of them seems to deal with a very target.
I don't think they're going for that. They want to hit it out of the park every time. It's Disney we're talking about.
What I'm saying is, I think what they're doing is they're building this mindscape because every one of them deals with some type of mental trauma.
Oh, okay.
If you really look at them, you have WandaVision, grief, Winter Soldier, PTSD, Hawkeye missing. Hawkeye is missing the family. Loki with self-identity. They're all very like single emotion projects, which I'm kind of digging because I feel like they're building a pie.
Really?
I do too.
I think it's more like, okay, so you're building a pie, but I don't like mincemeat and I don't necessarily like cherry pie. And you would say, who doesn't like cherry pie? I'd eat cherry yum yum before I had cherry pie. But I'm just saying that I haven't liked, with the exception of WandaVision, I will give that credit for being clever, beyond clever. And that's about it.
See, I liked them. I'm just easy to please, but it feels like they're taking a handful of spaghetti, throwing it at the wall, and seeing what sticks. Just with the rate that they're putting things out, it's just like shoot. And now they're like, all right, those didn't work. Over half of them were not received well. So let's drop this guy out there that's a wannabe Batman. Batman's doing well. Let's drop Marvel's version of Batman out there and see how it sticks.
I think they might be a little more meticulous than that. And you might be right, though. I think you might be, let's throw it at the wall, see what sticks. But it might be for like bigger projects. They want to go there. It's like saying, what direction do we want to go?
Yeah,
if you know, WandaVision hit the hardest. What are they promoting right now?
Right. Doctor Strange and
Doctor Strange and Wanda
and yeah,
and the Red Witch.
Scarlet Witch, Scarlet.
Scarlet
So
Witch.
they're using the series as the testing.
Just like a little launching platform. Okay, so Wanda did great. Let's put her in a movie. Hawkeye didn't do so well, so let's swipe left. Is it swipe left or swipe right? Which one?
Yeah,
Is
swipe left.
Swipe left.
Swipe left.
Swiping
Swipe
left on
left is
Hawkeye.
bad.
Yeah.
Swiper
So
got swiped.
Hawkeye got swiped left because that was basically a Lifetime Christmas movie. As I've said many times before, horrible.
No, and you're not
I
wrong.
did not like Hawkeye. I didn't
Yeah.
like it. I couldn't get through the first
like
episode. I was
Kingpin.
like,
It
right.
was cheese
I like-
ball on parade.
See, I like Loki, but that's
Yeah.
I love
I
Loki.
like
But
I
see,
like Hawkeye for the villain.
Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. And I can't even remember the name of the show, and maybe Rachel will remember it. But FX put a Marvel show out maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it was really, the guy was insane. And he was like in an insane asylum, but he was also had superpowers or something. The show was impossibly difficult to follow. I gave up.
And it's got what's her name in it? Shoot.
Yeah, I didn't do my research. I'm sorry. Bad host. But
Mr. Nine says Legion.
Legion.
Yep.
Yes.
Legion, that was it. I remember that.
So, and I had high hopes for it, but it just got so wonky. And that's how I felt about Loki. It really just got kind of campy, cheesy, wonky to me. Wonky.
Is that the official term?
Like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but not the good one with Gene Wilder.
Oh, the one with Johnny Depp.
That one was
Hey,
wonky.
whoa. That was a good one. Thank you for the follow, Date Somebody podcast. Daily Bugle podcast. Woo! Send me pictures of
I
Spider-Man.
don't know. I think I liked Loki because it set him up more than just this campy person. Like it sort of gave with all the variants, it gave a little bit more open-ended to his character to not just be the god of mischief, and it didn't pigeonhole him. It actually, I feel like it opened
It gave
him
more
up
dimension
to
as
It brought him back from
Exactly.
Endgame.
right.
It
And I
brought him
think that's
back.
why I liked it. Like you have all the variants, which means you have all these storylines, and so you're not bottlenecked into this one thing. And I think that that's what I liked about the series is that it can go many places. So
Well, I mean, it really did. If you really think, it took and introduced the multiverse and why we haven't seen it so far. Like, why wasn't the multiverse a thing?
Right. Because nobody
wasn't it a thing?
understands it.
It's
Well,
so
no, I
complicated.
mean, and because of the plot of Loki, it just wasn't a thing.
mhm.
The timekeepers were keeping the multiverse away, and like it's fun to watch back how methodical they were of stuff, and you can line up like Wanda losing her mind, and the fall of the multiverse tied with the timeline of Spider-Man. Like it's putting the finger of blame is Doctor Strange really to blame for the time the multiverse, or did something in Loki make it, or did Wanda create it? I think the overarch of this new phase is going to be the blame game. Like the multiverse itself is the overarching villain, and everyone's like, no, it's going to be Kang, or it's going to be, it's going to be this guy. It's going to be that. No, I think the overarch is the villain is the multiverse, and who caused it to collapse.
Well, I mean, they did an amazing job at introducing the complexities of it in No Way Home. I mean, it just blew me out of the water. I had no desire to handle the multiverse at all before I saw that movie. And now I'm like, Doctor Strange, bring it on. I'm ready.
But see, that's why I
feel
like
like-
Loki.
I feel
go
like
ahead.
all of this is that with the Avengers and all of these movies, they've closed a lot of chapters of the main characters. So they're having to make these streaming and movies and these characters that you haven't really heard of, that are sort of to build upon that, to continue on, because otherwise you're like, you've lost half your character. Where do you go from there? And I think that's sort of what Marvel is doing with all of these movies and these obscure characters, is they're having to recreate the Marvel universe. They're having to do that because they've shut the door on a lot of the bigger characters.
Yeah, I
They're
mean
building a plot line. Oh, go ahead.
they got to do something. I mean, they got to be able to sustain what they've built, right? So
Mhm.
that's was a great analogy that Ray gave, that they're just throwing that spaghetti at that wall. Or I like that, yeah, the spaghetti at the wall and see what was going to stick. I was going to make an off the collar joke about there was poop on the wall, who flung dew, but that's
Who
so
flung dew?
old. That's so old. I mean, that was when I was like in high school. No,
What am I gonna do?
in elementary school. But any case, it's okay. It's all right. I'm old. I can blame myself for these kind of things.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
So let's talk about the writing that's going to happen in Moon Knight. At first glance, you're going, oh no, the guy that wrote Fantastic Four is driving the bus. And that's going to be really stinky.
Like
But
Speedy.
then you hear the other two writers, one of which is the actual guy that created Moon Knight, and another comic book writer are also on board for this thing. So finally, after much discussion, me and Bill Mulligan talked about this before at nauseum, but now they've finally got comic book writers. So it's all out there. The script is made for you, right? They write scripts every week or bi-weekly or whatever, and they have built-in storyboards, right? Because the art goes along with the storyline that they create. So I don't know why they haven't done this before, but man, I'm giving them a whole lot of credit for doing it now.
I would, except I had never heard of Moon Knight before that.
Okay, that's a good point, but that's not necessarily the writer, right? He's written enough content to keep people entertained for a number of years.
I mean, honestly, I bet you more people know about him than I do, just because I don't know of him. But here's the thing: is because I don't know of him, I can't be like, "Oh, you got the writer for the comic book? Great." I don't know the comic books. I'm just like,
that's a fair point.
these comic books could literally be who through do.
Who threw do? Or who went to Mortal Kombat? I mean, who knows?
Who went to Mortal Kombat? Because if you told me the writers of the
Did
game
you
Mortal
just throw that
Kombat
in my
were working
face?
on if you told me the
Are
writers
we
of
there
Mortal
yet?
Kombat were like the
Are we
people
there
who
yet?
created the video game, I'd be like, the game had no story.
And apparently no destination.
Okay. Okay. So I think it's a good thing that they actually are using the people that created the show, created the comic, and I think it's going to pay dividends. I am going to make my bold prediction right now. John made his Blade bold prediction.
Dun, dun, dun.
My bold prediction is that Moon Knight is going to be hands down the most successful Marvel series that Disney Plus has done. I'm just giving
That's a bold claim.
You know why I'm doing that claim? That I'm going off the success of the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and the soon to be released Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. I'm just saying.
I won't. If you do an episode on that, I won't on there.
They are using that formula that has worked for those things. So they are they're borrowing actors from the Star Wars universe to make this happen.
Multiverse there.
I don't know if they're gonna if Jabba the Hutt's going to be in Moon Knight or not.
Is
I
he a
don't think there's
Marvel
going to be a
villain? Is that what
crossover
it is?
to
No,
that
they're doing
extent.
Listen,
But I don't-
we're gonna need a little bit of Jabba the Hutt in there. I'm gonna need the Mandalorian to show up and just be okay with whatever's happening.
I need Grogu
Hey,
to show up and just show up with a frog and just hand it to somebody.
Yeah.
I would totally be okay with that.
Because the
Just
success
like,
of the
walk
I
off.
book of
have
Boba
him.
Fett.
Get him. I have that
the
whole
success of
scene.
the book of the Boba Fett
the
is
pop.
2 whole episodes of that 6-episode series was just an episode of The Mandalorian. It was just like the book of Boba Fett will be back next week. Now let's watch The Mandalorian.
Oh, I love it.
So it's got
I
Jabba, the slave Leia, and what's his face? You just told me his name.
I went to the new Star Wars in
Florida, Disney.
Florida. I
Yeah.
went there and walked around for like a couple hours. It was really cool.
You're right, Dorian. He did, and I'm about it.
Somebody's a little spoiled.
Christopher Lloyd has signed up for Mandalorian season 3.
Yep,
What? Doc?
I saw that.
Doc is signed up. All right. So
I'm 100% on board.
So Oscar Isaac, who's going to play Moon Knight, is definitely known for his work in Dune and his work in Star Wars and Ex Machina. Machina? Is that how you say it? Machina? Machina? I mean, I think it's Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
I think it's Ex Machina because I think it's
It's Ex Machina.
Machina. Yeah, it is.
Ex Machina.
all right.
You had one moment. It happens.
Yeah, I'm Polish. I'm not, Hispanic, so I didn't know that. But I claim to be Hispanic on a lot of occasions.
Macarena.
Ex Machina. That's how I'm going to remember it from now on. Ex Machina was
Okay, that was wrong. Let's stop that. That's going to be the Friday night dance party at the con. All right. Speaking of the con, I'm going to take a break. Oscar, we're going to put a bookmark right there, and I want to tell everyone to go to ConCarolinas.org and get your badges because we're going to give you something. We're going to give you a checkout code, which is what, Mr. Dondero?
CCTV 22. If you check in the chat you can see the link and the code to use. Go there and purchase, but CCTV 22 for 25% off a weekend pass. Go do it.
Our con chair, Karen Franks, did a little fun thing too. So if you're Team Morbius, put in Morbius for your coupon code. And if you're Team Moon Knight, one word, Moon Knight, right? Don't make any spaces in there. Put that coupon code in, and then she'll let us know who wins between Morbius and Moon Knight in the coupon code Mortal Kombat Challenge. That's the best we can do, John, with the Mortal Kombat
Challenge.
Challenge.
I like it. Listen.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Good.
I'm telling you what, we're going to Mortal Kombat.
That's all.
I think we have enough room in some space. If not, we'll have Mortal Kombat up in the hotel room.
No, there's a whole room for Dondero streams, and I want a versus. I want me and Arugs versus you and Ray.
All right.
We're doing this.
You're going.
In what?
Yeah.
What are we fighting? Like, I know we're going.
We're doing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a tournament style Mortal Kombat.
We're gonna have like foam swords and like
Okay.
there we go.
We have the actual game.
I only have one leg.
You need two hands, not one leg.
I only have one leg, bro. I can't do it.
I was like, do I get a sword? Do I get to like?
I think we should do
like
a
little
game.
A trivia contest.
Oh,
Game.
okay. All right, no blood.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
got it.
Go figure.
I thought it was a
Dondero
movie.
streams. We're gonna play the game, and we're gonna go to Mortal Kombat.
Okay, are you good, Arugs?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we had Mortal Kombat playing. Are you good?
Oh, they heard it too.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Am I good for what?
Are you good at the Mortal Kombat game?
I press
She's a
buttons
button
real well.
masher.
Yeah, I'm a button
I'm a button
masher.
masher.
Boom.
No, I'm not a button masher.
She's not.
I know all the fatalities.
You're going.
She does too. All right, good.
You
It's
know what?
gonna
I
be
think
a
we should
good
switch teams.
Button
Like it
mashers
should be the
versus
button mashers against the not button mashers.
Yeah, see who wins. That you know what? Everyone wants to know who's going to win that.
No, you know what? No, that's infuriating. I hate getting beat by a button masher. There's nothing more infuriating than knowing what you do and they just roundhouse kick you, roundhouse
There's
kick
no.
you,
I
roundhouse
stand
kick
on
you.
top of the
Yeah,
edge of the.
Stop spamming it.
I just stand up and start with my arms stretched out. I even get on the roof sometimes, and I say, "Oh, with my arms stretched out." All right, back to Moon Knight. Who? Moon Knight. Oscar
What?
Isaac. Okay, he's known for Ex Machina.
And Annihilation. He was in Annihilation too.
Oh yeah, he was the husband. Great. So
That's
yeah,
the first place I saw him.
He's quality actor. Boom, they nailed it with that, right? Supporting actor. Now
Ethan Hawke.
the funny thing is, all right, I was reading somewhere that it's not because he's an Academy Award winning actor. It's not because he's done a ton of movies, a world recognized name, but it's because he's actually Oscar Isaac's neighbor that he got the role in Moon Knight. He's like, wait, my neighbor is Ethan Hawke. I could talk to him.
They were at an HOA meeting drinking some beers, and they're like, "Hey, so I got this movie. Do you just what you doing the next couple of months? Like, are you signed up for anything?" Yeah.
They
I honestly think he's just. Oh, go ahead.
No, you.
I honestly think it's just because they were supposed to do a lot more Star Wars movies and no one gave a crap. So they're like, well, we have Oscar Isaac, who's Poe Dameron. We got to use him. He was like the only person from the trilogy no one hated.
I didn't hate it.
Well, that's the thing. Well, like everybody had a beef with this character, a beef with that character. No one had a beef with Poe Dameron.
No.
No one went. None of the toxic Star Wars fans went, well, you know what? I don't like Poe Dameron.
Right. He's
one
not
of
an
them.
Ewok.
Like, we got to use that dude.
He's not an Ewok, and he's not, Jar Jar Binks.
Holding the lightsaber.
Boom. All right. So Ethan Hawke is going to be in the show. I think he is the bad guy. I don't know what there's not a whole lot of chatter about what's going to happen in the show, other than this guy's got 4 personalities, and I might get confused at some point.
I was going to say, I have seen several trailers, and I still have no idea what this is about.
Yep.
Which
makes me think it's going to be a great movie, which is going to be a great show, because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's what I think.
You want to show up for the first episode just to see what is all of this about, and that's what's going to draw people to watch it.
And as long as it blows people away from Jump Street, it's going to be on.
Do you remember that movie that came out, Split, where he's got the 21 different personalities?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Split, Glass,
and they kind
Unbreakable.
of brought that all together. I do know that Moon Knight has a psychiatrist on standby that they're using to, consult on the dissociative identity. And I think that's going to be a big thing for it. I think they're really going to be pushing that, and kind of the trauma that leads up to it. That's some of the stuff that I've been reading into and looking at. And I think that's where they're leaning at, is kind of not making it so much of a superhero, but more of just a guy with an issue. He's got this issue. It's the mental issue is going to take forefront.
Yeah, and then Khonshu, right? Khonshu, is that his name? Or it's pronounced different on the TV show as opposed to what it was in the comic book. Khonshu, I think, is what it is on the TV show, is going to be played by F. Murray Abraham, who is an amazing actor, like classically trained. I mean, it's got a lot of really good actors. And I think to Ray's point that we have, if we are going with that sort of underlying, current as being that, what's it called? Dissociative identity disorder. It's DID, right? Is what people call it, acceptable form. Okay, so DID, if they explore that undercurrent, they've got the acting chops to do that really, really well. So if they go, I hope they go down that route, because I will be far less confused. I might give it some props for being kind of Batman-like because we all know
Well,
I
they
love
need to stay
him.
away from Batman.
What?
If they want to be successful, I think they need to make sure they separate.
Distance
Because
themselves
one
from
of
him?
his personalities is a billionaire that funds all of his crime fighting. So one of his 4 personalities is Bruce Wayne, basically. So if they want to be successful, I think they need to differentiate themselves from Batman.
Right. Focus on
Mhm.
one of the other guys, like one of them is like a soldier of fortune, kind of a gun for hire. Is one of his personalities. Oh, are we? No, because this is all talked about in
It hasn't come out yet. None of us have seen it, so it's all speculation.
It's all
Yeah.
speculation.
Yeah. So if they focus on one of his other personalities, to Rachel's point, and distance themselves from Batman, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. They might be coming or happening upon a really successful formula here, finally,
Mhm.
as far as I'm concerned, on Disney Plus streaming.
I still think it's a risk though,
It is.
but I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm excited about this risk because every series we've had so far in the Marvel thing has had a movie behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Has had stuff to take from. Like it is all had to deal with the movies that have come out, and this seems like the first series where it's like, no, we're not only kind of doing our own storyline, but this has nothing to do with anything that we've done so far, and it's a new character, so it's going to be that risk of, oh, but I'm excited about that. Like I'm like, there's some potential there.
They have free reign.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I mean, they're still sticking with kind of their Avenger roots because Moon Knight was part of the new Avengers, so and the Street
Well,
Avengers.
see, I think there's
Yeah,
also,
I mean,
what are
which
we
is
going to?
a lot less known Avenger. But
When are they going to talk about what happened in Eternals? There's like half of a giant thing sticking out of the earth. When are they going to approach that?
They're not.
Getting a little annoyed by that.
We're gonna
There's a
pretend-
giant hand and a face coming out of our planet, and no one has talked about it yet.
That's in a different universe.
It's like the wart that no one talks about on somebody's face. You just don't.
There
do
better
that.
be one article in that show going, "Hey, did y'all see this like giant face and stuff popping out of our planet? What about that?
We don't
Anybody
talk
know
about
anything
Bruno.
about that?
No.
Is the face Bruno?
No.
We don't talk about
I'm
it.
sorry, I just had to bring that up because that's the one thing that's kind of annoyed me with like they just kind of all like the Spider-Man movie, the TV shows have just kind of ignored the Eternals even ever existing,
Well, that's
even
what
though
they
there
do.
was a giant celestial showed up on the planet and said, "Nah, you coming with me,"
right.
and no one has talked about it.
Yeah.
What
If it doesn't
was
work, they ignore it. It never happened.
Was it horribly received in the box office? The Eternals.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
bad. Well, that's why.
I mean, it was half and half because when Eternals came out, COVID was still a thing. It was the tail end, but it was still people weren't back in the theaters like they are now.
So, but it's streaming right now, so I'd be interested to see if it's
I
picked
did.
up any steam.
I watched it in streaming, and I got to say, it's very lukewarm at best. It is.
Yeah,
I watched it
They
twice just
mentioned-
to make sure, like, how I
Yeah.
felt about it, and it's like one of those. Oh well, it was okay, but let me see if I watch it. One of those you watch it a second time because you were lukewarm about it, and it's one of those.
It's still
One
Mhm.
of those.
Because you didn't care. Again, in Justice League theory, you just didn't give a shit about anybody.
Mm-mm.
You're just like, okay, cool. You're like Superman. Oh, you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What's gonna
And you
happen
change
there?
literally the entire planet, and no one else is talking about it.
Oh.
Well, hopefully Moon Knight won't be a miss. I mean, that's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping deep down inside. Is as much as I want that aspect of Marvel not to do so well because of my adoration, but obsession. Yeah, let's hope that it just lives up to what it's supposed to live up to, which is
I mean, I hope it
I
does too,
think
because
it
I
will
love
do
the MCU.
well. I think it will do well because there's no expectation for it. Loki, there was an expectation. WandaVision, there's an expectation. For this one, because it is new, there's no movie behind it. You don't know this character. I think that people are going to like it because there is no, well, that's not what it was like in the movie. And it's going to be a
Right.
fresh look on this character. And I think that it's going to do well because there is just no expectation from that. No,
That's
that's just
why
I want to watch it.
I
I
think
wanna
that's why
watch
Boba Fett did more poorly than Mandalorian.
Did it? Well,
It no, it
Yeah.
did. It got a lot of flack
Yeah, it
because everyone had an expectation of the character of Boba Fett. That character, even though no one knows about that character because he says 12 lines the entire saga, everybody
right.
pictured what they thought Boba Fett should be because everybody knows Boba Fett. And like Mandalorian could get away with anything because he's a brand new character.
And they have
and
the
you
little green
love
guy.
You had the little green guy, but not even that. It was like a
He was
Mandalorian,
that.
and you're just like,
What's that?
Which makes me
He
nervous
was
about
that.
Obi-Wan.
It does
no,
make
see,
you
I
Really
think
nervous?
nervous about that one.
Obi-Wan,
It's such an
Yeah.
iconic character. You make one
He
move,
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
so
whole thing's done.
but here's the thing is,
yeah.
there's already established storyline. That's the thing. I'm not as worried about Obi-Wan because with Boba Fett, tell me any fact about Boba Fett. Any fact about Boba Fett.
He's a clone,
Yeah.
right?
If you watch the Star Wars movies, you could you could say anything about Boba Fett. I mean, the dude collects pink unicorns. I don't know. Dude never talked. He said 12 lines the entire the entire 3 movies. Dude goes, "As you wish. I need him alive."
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like,
He's got his own movie.
yeah, and he's like from
He did.
Australia or from New Zealand or something. Did he have a New Zealand accent or New Australian accent when he uttered those words? As you wish, or was that to Princess Buttercup?
That's Princess
No,
Bride.
wasn't that Princess Bride?
Not Boba Fett.
Whatever. I'm
but
here
yeah,
for
in the
I'm
comics,
here for the fun.
so yeah, but that's why I'm like, okay, Moon Knight's going to be good because it's brand new. And I want Marvel to keep going good because I love the MCU. Just like, I'm excited to see the new Batman film because I love Batman when he's not Justice League. When Batman is isolated in his universe, he is my favorite. And
Mine too.
that, yeah, like I don't have, I'll make fun of Batman all day long, but I genuinely
Well,
love
Batman's
Superman
Batman.
all day long too.
Because listen, Batman's cool until he's next to Superman. Again, the Eternals had a Superman, and I was so happy how that character ended. I'm not going to spoil it,
Christopher.
but it's how I wish Superman would end.
All right. I'm shooting you with a kryptonite bullet. That's it. You're done. You're done. All right. So, what do we want to see going forward from Marvel on both platforms, whether it's the streaming service or in the theater? Quality, right?
That's solid. Yeah, I want to fall in love with new characters.
Yes.
You're kind of running your course on these characters, and I think Doctor Strange is going to give us an ability to recast and open up. And I'm excited for the introduction to the X-Men and the bringing in the Fox characters and getting some actual decent MCU life with that. I hope that they go forward and do the Secret Wars. I hope they get Tom Cruise to play Iron Man.
Is that a real statement?
That is a real statement.
Mic check or earring check or whatever?
Is this thing-
There's a whole thing going on because there is an Iron Man who kind of went bonkers and kind of like got a hold of the Infinity Stone.
Jumped on Oprah's couch?
Dude, okay, so imagine like how broken Tony was throughout the series. Now throw in the what if category of, yeah, but what if he just didn't, he got a hold of them Infinity Stones. He, at the end of Avengers 1, where he came back through, he started looking. he started pulling a Thanos. Not because he wanted to wipe out half the existence. He wanted to protect things, but we saw what happens when Tony wants to protect.
Right.
Okay.
And
I
you
think
get
I want
Age
to
of
see
Ultron.
less assembly line. I want to
Deep dive.
I'm hoping Moon Knight works really well because I'm tired of feeling like it's just let's
The
just
formula.
put it together and pass it on and just like throwing the spaghetti on the wall. You know, like I want to feel
Who
less
flung
like you're
do?
throwing spaghetti on the
Flung.
wall.
Slug.
Flung do.
But
I want to feel like that, and I
honestly,
want to feel like I can get into a character and actually care about the characters again. Because right now, it's just I feel like they're coming out with just series after movie, and it's like
And that's what I'm
okay, I'm
thinking.
gonna watch it for fun, but
I
I
believe
don't
for that to
care.
happen,
It's we're gonna
I
shoot it out. We're gonna shoot it out. We're gonna shoot it out. I want quality. I
Yes.
want characters that we can relate to, characters that we enjoy, characters that they put their time into. Because when they put
Mhm.
their time into it, they're successful. But right now, they're just like every 5 minutes shooting something in your face, and it's just not sticking.
They've got a great formula. Let's not deny
The
that. Okay.
formula is
So
impersonal.
my thing is I want them to stick to the formula.
No.
I want them to be very Avengers centric, very Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Doctor Strange. I want all of that, but I want some new fresh faces. Like I don't know, Defenders or new Avengers or whatever road you want to go down. I just think that they've done a great job with Spider-Man and keeping him the Tom Holland Spider-Man. All Spider-Mans and kind of bringing that all together was just a beautiful thing. But let's just keep it, fantastic. I mean, I want to make sure
Not
and don't
Fantastic Four.
don't do Fantastic Four again. You can't
But-
make it good. If you can't make
that's
it
the
good,
thing.
especially
To get
that
out of the
Stan.
formulaic, episode thing that we're in right now, nothing's got to stick to that wall. Moon Knight's got to fail. The next couple of movies have to fail because
Or so.
Disney's very strong about if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
For
Mhm.
sure.
And
why
I said
I had
they're
to live
going to
with
keep
crap like
pumping
Snow
out.
White.
I mean, my favorite thing is the Jungle Book was just recycled animations that were popular in the other thing. You could see the same animation because Disney is exactly that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We got to bomb the MCU. Like the MCU just got to fail for us to like reset it. Now I don't think it will. I think we will still get these formulaic episodes, but I think they'll still be great, and I'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't need them to fail. I'm still loving it. No Way Home. Oh my god.
It was
Doctor
good.
Strange looks so
Doctor
good.
Strange looks amazing, right?
I'm so excited
Yeah.
about Doctor Strange.
I
I love Doctor Strange.
We just watched No Way Home last night. I think it was last night. Yeah, man, come on, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful
It was
movie.
good.
I cried, and if I cry at a movie,
Mm-hmm.
it gets all of the accolades that I can give it.
There's no wrong way to do that movie. Like there's no point in that movie you're like, well, this is a movie. You're just like,
Right.
You are.
this
in
is it. This is why I watched all of Sony Spider-Man. Because I want to see the Sinister Six, where one of them's a tree. Still my favorite villain.
All right. Well, that brings
Those
us
who've seen
to
the movie know that it is.
another wonderful conclusion to an amazing episode with some really amazing people that have wonderful opinions. Is that enough, John? But
Just keep
But
petting him. Just you're a good boy.
I implore you, go to ConCarolinas.org and either put in CCTV22 for your checkout code, or put it Morbius if you think it's going to be Team Morbius, or if you think it's going to be Moon Knight, one word, no space, put in Moon Knight, and we'll see who's the winner. Next week, I'm hoping, I have some feelers out that we're going to have a LARPing episode. I'm like, what the LARP? I mean,
I have some
That's a
people.
LARP.
I have a lot of people who are very excited about that episode.
all right. So I've got some really quality content or some really quality people, guests that have I'm trying to get on. So within the next day or so, because I got to start producing the ads. Hopefully, we'll have an answer. But if not, we will bring you something. That's for sure.
If not, can we go back to Mortal Kombat?
We can
We'll play
always
Mortal
go back.
Kombat for an hour. I mean,
Listen,
We
I
can do that.
I'll
honestly could
school
do
you for
that.
an hour. That's fine.
Oh,
I really want to challenge you two to a trivia contest at some point too.
No, I suck at trivia.
No, but I'm good. I can hold us.
okay.
I'm really good at trivia. I want to
Yeah.
play video games where I'm kind of
But you-
mediocre at.
You got to keep your hands up the whole time so that you can't Google, because we know in this day and age, man, you can just say, "Oh, did you mean this?" and repeat the question, and then Siri's got the answer right in front of you. So no, you can't do any of that. So, so I challenge you. I hereby challenge you.
I don't need
to
my hands
do
in
it.
chat. I feel like, computer, are you saying that Isaac Davis was in Moonknight?
I'll just keep my hands up.
Can be found on the web.
That's all.
According to TalkVietnam.com, the wins for Davis, who co-starred in Denzel Washington.
Computer, shut up.
Yeah, you just failed. Yeah, so yeah, I challenge you for sure to a duel.
No.
I'm Lord Farquaad.
Do you
and
want to
I'm
win
challenging
against
you.
CCTV? All right.
I'm down for it. We have been pressing it pretty hardcore. We've been all week long. We have been pressing ConCarolinas television, like ConCarolinas' event, because we're gonna have our room doing all the content you see throughout the week. And I'm like,
I just
there's
bought my plane
definitely going
ticket.
to be.
It's official. I'm gonna be there. So
Yeah.
everybody show up.
Yeah. The whole blue skirt boys are going to be there, but we definitely have to get some D101 versus CCTV,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
and do a fun panel. And yeah, we can actually do video games because we do gaming.
Excellent.
We do gaming.
All right. So until next time, my friends at ConCarolinas Television, we bid you a fond farewell and adieu. So
do.
adieu. Who flung it?
Oof, look.
Who's long to do?
Honor.
I'm Ray.
And we are ConCarolinas
I'm John.
Television out. John and the Roogs. Thank you guys. You were wonderful. Peace and love.